You know, the Republicans would have you think that the biggest problem facing this country right now is the border. I wouldn't even rank that in the top 5 problems facing this country. I think the biggest problem facing the country right now is the debt. It takes the federal government 17% of annual revenue just to pay the interest on that debt. And what are they going to do when that number hits 30 or 35%? We're not going to be able to function as a country. Nobody's really talking about this problem. Donald Trump says he's going to pay down the debt, but he never says what he's going to do or how he's going to do it. That's like me saying, yeah, I'm going to lose weight, but I never do because I keep eating like a pig. I will say this, Kamala Harris's economic plans will only add about $1 trillion to the debt. Donald Trump's will add over $5 trillion. So there's that. The number 2 problem is climate change, and yeah, I can hear everyone laughing. Ha ha ha, climate change. The fact is, climate change is real, it's happening, and we're causing it. And if we don't do something to fix it, it's going to cost us big time. The number of billion-dollar weather disasters keeps going up and up and up. The number of people killed in those weather disasters keeps going up and up and up. At least the Democrats are trying to do something about it. The Republicans think it's a big hoax. They think that because the climate changed in the past, this is just a natural event. Well, in the past, when the climate changed, it happened over thousands of years. This time, it's happening in a few short decades. There is nothing natural about what's happening now. But there is one unnatural explanation: us. Number 3 is the rising cost of health care, the rising cost of health care insurance, and the fact that Medicare is going to run out of money in about 10 years. You know, over in Europe, they have health care for everyone. Over here, we have GoFundMe. It's getting to the point where the cost of your health insurance is beyond the reach of most Americans. Unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, or you work for the government, you can't afford health insurance. What are they going to do when the cost gets so high that nobody can afford it? These people will be out in the streets. Meanwhile, over in Europe, they pay a lot more in taxes than we do, but they don't ever have to worry about their health care. It's paid for. They live longer than we do, and they're happier than we are. And not only that, but by the time we pay for all of our health insurance, our deductibles, all the crap that our health insurance won't cover, plus fight with the health care providers and the health insurance companies, we've paid more than we would have paid if our taxes had been raised to pay for health care for all. Makes not a damn bit of sense. Number 4 would be the imminent collapse of Social Security. Once upon a time, Social Security was doing just fine. It had its own little pot of money. That money was being invested. It was growing. The fund was paying out benefits. There were no problems. And then Congress saw that money sitting there, and they said, hey, we want to spend that money. They said, don't worry. We'll pay your Social Security benefits out of general revenue. You'll always get your Social Security benefits. For the past 4 decades, they've been telling me and people like me, yeah, you're going to get your Social Security benefits. And now guess what? They didn't invest that money. They spent it on crap, and they're running out. Social Security is expected to run out of money in about 10 years. That is, if Kamala Harris is elected. If Donald Trump is elected, then it'll run out of money in about 5 years because his economic plan is that atrocious. And people like me, we have planned on getting that money. We have formed our retirement strategies around getting that money. What are we supposed to do? Number 5 would be Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. You know, we got a presidential candidate who seems to think that the leaders of Russia and China and North Korea are just wonderful people. Not so much Iran, because that's a Muslim nation and he hates Muslims. Those guys are out to get us. They are out to undermine us. They want to do us harm. They have been trying for decades to put us out of business. They're on social media stirring up dissent, and they're over in the Middle East whispering into Saudi Arabia's ear, cut production, raise prices. They're doing all kinds of crap to make trouble for us. You need a firm hand dealing with those countries, and that ain't Donald Trump. And that's why they want him to be president so bad, because they think he's a useful idiot. They think that they can manipulate him. And you know what? They're right. Meanwhile, the Republicans go on and on and on about the border. They tell us, oh yeah, they're coming over the border and they're taking all our jobs. No, they're not. They're not taking our jobs. They're just taking the jobs that we don't want to do. Or the Republicans will say, well, they're coming over here and committing crimes. They're rapers and unalivers and thieves. No, they're not. Very few of those folks come over here and commit crimes because they're keeping their heads down. They're lying low. If they're found out, they'll be deported back to wherever they came from, and they don't want to do that, so they toe the line. Or the Republicans will tell us, well, they're soaking up all our benefits. No, they're not. They don't get our benefits. They don't qualify. And not only that, but if they applied for them, they'd be detected to be here illegally, and they'd be sent back to wherever they came from. What they do is they pay into our benefit funds. Last year, it was like $96 billion they paid in taxes and Social Security. Didn't take any of those funds, but they sure paid into them. So yeah, guys, the border ain't the problem. It's a minor problem, but it's not one of the biggies. All those other ones that I outlined for you, those are the problems, and the Republicans are promising no solutions to any of them. Vote accordingly. Oh, and folks, if you've watched this video to this point, A, you're out of your mind, and B, do me a favor, give it a like, maybe leave a comment, maybe follow. Let's spoof the algorithm.